I lucked into a beautiful warm day in February. It's almost 80 degrees today. And I have the day off, that's the lucky part. So I've come to do the 3-mile Lookout Tower Trail at Waller Mill Park. You access it on the west side of the parking lot. Now, the first part of this trail goes alongside Airport Road, so it's not that tranquil with the traffic, but up ahead we will be going up a rather steep incline that will take us around to the other side of the lake to a beautiful lookout point. There's places to sit along the way, and I was so lost in thought I almost missed the turning point to the lookout trail. Now this trail is not for the faint of heart. It's got a lot of stairs, and actually this is a better part of the trail. Looks like the volunteers have been actually doing some repair work to the stairs recently. But as you'll see ahead, there's some pretty steep inclines with lots of tree roots, so it's a pretty good little hike. 3 miles. Now this isn't the final point, but it's one lookout point. I can still hear the traffic behind us, but as we go farther back in through the woods, it becomes much more serene. Probably not the smartest thing to be talking and videotaping while I'm walking on the steeper parts of the incline, but hey, I'm adventurous. Yep, I'd forgotten just how steep some of these parts are. Oh, but the views are worth it when you get to the top. This is the closest we've actually been to the water's edge on this trail so far. I think I'm probably about a third of the way in. And on that crest ahead is the endpoint destination lookout. Here's another nice lookout point off in the distance there. You can see the, I don't know what they call it, the boathouse, where the staff works next to the parking lot, so you get some idea of how far we've come around the reservoir. Still farther to go. On my last Waller Mill video that I did in the snow, I remember remarking that I did not know what that red structure was out in the water, and so I asked on this visit, and it turns out that this lake was built for Camp Perry, and that was an old pump house, no longer operational. Now here comes somebody with a good idea for today. When you see this bench, you are at the midway point of the trail. Once I got here, I remembered that this is indeed the midpoint. There's no other structure built for a lookout like I had remembered in my mind. That first platform we went on is the only platform like that you'll see. This is a great place to stop and enjoy the scenery, knowing that you are halfway along the trail. I'm hearing traffic again, which means we have looped around close again to Airport Road. I can't see the traffic yet, though. Well, we must be nearing the end of the trail. What a nice little footbridge. I'm not sure why it was needed at this location. Maybe it gets boggy here in the spring rains. Hearing that plane go overhead reminded me that I've been talking to you about how close we are at Waller Mill Park to Airport Road, and people who haven't been in Williamsburg long wonder why it's called Airport Road. There's no airport in this vicinity. The only local airport we have is a small plane pit stop over off of Jamestown Road and 199, which is in danger. Well, it's up for sale, let me put it that way. As far as I know, it's still active, but it's a rather short runway. Anyway, back in the 1950s, the College of William and Mary had a landing strip out here, and not on the grounds of the park as I understand it, but nearby. And some of the professors had small planes, as I understand it. Probably ought to Google this if you really want to know the accurate history of it. But it is long since defunct. However, the road that goes by Waller Mill Park is still known as Airport Road. Another sign that we are heading the right way. And I remember passing by the back of this sign as I headed down that trail, so we are not far from our starting point. And that was a good hike. It made me exert myself up and down the hills, and it was just long enough to feel like I got some real exercise. I enjoyed the wind and the rustling dead leaves on the trees, and enjoyed seeing the waterfowl and kayakers on the sparkling water. In my opinion, there's nothing quite like sunlight on sparkling water, or rippling water I should say, to restore peace to one's spirit. I hope you've enjoyed this walk. You can see now that we are back to the one and only viewing platform. I was wrong about there being two. So I think the climax of this trail is the bench where I sat and looked out over the water with you. Enjoy. Come see the park. It's really a lovely experience. And just one more thing, in case you were wondering. That entire loop took me about an hour and 10, hour and 15 minutes. And I was going at a leisurely pace and stopping to talk to you and the folks with the dogs a couple of times. Probably spent 5 minutes on my bench. So if you're a serious hiker, I bet you could do it in 50 minutes. But I'm not a serious hiker. I just like to play. So long.